this. Hello, everyone out there. Welcome back to another episode of More Slice of Life. This is the More Slice of Life podcast. I'm your host, Sherrod Willenova, and I'm joined tonight with my lovely co-host,
Jessica Willenova.
Hello, everyone. How is everyone's summer off to a good start going? How is everyone's good summer off going to start doing? Must it hot Anyway, got a good episode on the way for you guys. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't done so already. And so, Jessica, do you want to lead us into our first topic of the night?
Sure. Our first topic tonight is Joe Budden and all of his controversy lately. So first there was, obviously he has his podcast. I know Joe Budden starting from Love and Hip Hop. And I know he made music. That's why he was able to be on Love and Hip Hop. But I feel like those who watched Love and Hip Hop way back in 2013, 14, whatever year that was, years ago, we knew Joe as just like a crazy drug addict for real, who just that's a
character you played on the show? That's like the drug addict.
Yeah, like that's person. Who Joe Budden had long history struggling with addiction and stuff like that. Yeah. Not trying to knock him for it. I'm just saying, we knew Joe as the crazy kind of crackhead, you know what I'm saying? And then he started on, what's it called that he started on? Everyday Struggle, and he already had his own podcast when he started Everyday Struggle, right? That had some traction, and that's why he got to Everyday Struggle. So Everyday Struggle, and then that one talk show with Remy Ma. What was it called again? With Remy Ma and
State of the Culture.
And then back to the podcast, and then recently, the podcast basically just crumbled because Rory and Mal, the guys that he was doing the podcast with, they said that there was issues with payment, stuff like this. It all came to a head. But layered on top of this was also another crazy controversy that I do feel when everyone has now come and discussed all these things, they really swept this one, Joe really swept this one under the rug, and it was kind of gross to see him just be so nonchalant about the whole situation. So basically he had his podcast, and then so he started an all women's podcast.
He has a network, the Joe Budden Network.
Joe Budden Network now, so on YouTube. So he started 2 all women's podcasts. He sat in on a podcast, and basically he was saying to the young woman, her name was Olivia Dope, he was saying you and I don't talk as much and we should talk more. And she was saying in the podcast, it's a defense mechanism of mine in business as a woman and as a black woman to be this way, and she literally said that. That's what makes the whole thing so crazy, because they definitely had that moment where, and he even said so see, our defense mechanisms are working against each other, and so we're not able to talk and come together and blah blah blah. And then all in the same breath right after that, he said something along the lines of he said, well, not along the lines, he said, because, we definitely need to talk more, because I've been wanting to fuck you since you started, this job or whatever. And she kind of...
But they cut it out of the podcast.
They cut it out, yes. They cut that part out, and they just have her nervous laughing. And then there were several incidents like this that happened throughout him saying, he wanted to fuck her. It kept going throughout the podcast. They cut it all out. She, nervously, according to her, she didn't want to... be the buzzkill of the whole situation. She said everybody was laughing, but she also said that everybody felt uncomfortable too, and uncomfortable for her, but she just brushed off, and then it kind of just drove her insane, not drove her insane, but just not drove her insane, but it just got to her that she allowed herself to be spoken to like that. And she ended up quitting the network and then coming out and publicly talking about it, which I really respect. And the big thing about it is that Joe had a podcast where he addressed it, but he goes ahead and addresses the Rory and Mal situation at the same time as addressing this Olivia Dope situation, and talked way more about the Rory and Mal situation than he did about the Olivia Dope situation. And he even definitely he took responsibility for a quick second, but then went back to not taking responsibility. And it was just
but
gross.
isn't that like the wisest thing to do? You know what I mean? Like in the grand scheme of things, this Olivia Dope situation is very small in comparison to
that's how
him and his friends falling out.
And that's how he would like to see. That's how he would like to make it seem.
That's how I would like it to seem as well.
And that's how what?
That's how I would like it to seem. You know what I mean?
You see, but I think that is not good because this actually was a really it was a pretty serious situation when you make a woman feel that way.
But no, is it because that they're coworkers? Is it because of that? But because if it was like just some random interaction on the street,
they didn't know each other.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like if some random dude comes up to you in the street and he's being vulgar with you and he says something that you don't like, you can choose then
not
to
just
walk
coworker,
away.
Sherrod, he's the employer.
Yeah, right.
So he's the employer in front of a room full of people
worse.
on cameras saying these things to this woman, and she's feeling like an employee. So she almost feels like powerless in this situation. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Almost like she doesn't know what to do because this is my job. This is my boss. I want to keep my job.
Exactly.
I want to make my boss happy, I guess.
Yeah. And I will say I watched all of the things, and she did not, at no point did she flirt or lean into this with him. She even said, he said, I thought we were going to be, the next Lori Harvey and Michael whatever of podcasting, the new hot couple. And she said, no, Joseph, we're not. And she was being very just herself, but you could tell that she was just keeping all that bullshit at bay. And then it just bothered her enough to the point where, and I feel her because, and like she said, he at one point, there's two other women who do the podcast. So her and two other women. She's dressed nicely. Those two women that day happened to have on joggers or dressed more casually. And he said, you carry the show for when these two are over here looking like aunties. And then afterward, all the episodes before she came out, I went back and looked at this and saw this myself. There were 2 episodes that the 2 girls shot again before Olivia Dope came out and said, because it was a month of her not saying anything, and she even shot a couple more episodes and stuff, and then finally she came out. But in that time because she had said that was one of her gripes too, he created a hostile work environment for her by pitting her up against, basically saying that she was attractive and the other 2 hosts were not. And it is true. After that podcast, those girls came on the next podcast and was like, here we are, the aunties, blah 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 blah. They did hold on to that.
Were they all dressed up and stuff then? Did they dress up
They were a little more dressed, yeah. Sometimes they dress, sometimes they don't, and they talked about that. They were ratchets. Yeah. But my assessment of the whole situation really was just that Olivia Dope was a respectable, reserved, classy woman in bad company. I think she was in bad company because Mandy, the other woman on the podcast, is just a rat. And then Bridget is just an old, she's just older, washed up, Love and Hip Hop ass girl. They all sold their soul to be on Love and Hip Hop. Not even sold their soul, but sold their dignity to be on Love and Hip Hop anyway. Mandy, or Bridget, the one co-host, she talks about how her man had cheated on her 4 years prior, but they just went ahead and pretended like he had just did it for a storyline and all these things. So I mean, she was in bad company.
So it's a whole bunch of faking constructed narratives and stories and stuff like that. And so that's therefore I'm and they've been saying this about Joe, that when the camera's on, he kind of turns on that kind of asshole reputation of just being disrespectful and things that are finna get ratings and get clicks and people talking and stuff like that. And so I can see that being almost a facet of being on a show and stuff like that. You can kind of play into the heel of things, so
I could see him doing that.
And so when I think about that rubbing a coworker the wrong way, an employee the wrong way, somebody that you employ, I don't know,
yeah, you should never be telling a woman, I want to fuck you.
But what if you were joking?
You shouldn't even joke like that. And not in the workplace either. And it is inappropriate.
And I guess because the environment is so casual and laid back and stuff like that, and it's just like it's a podcast. We're having a conversation.
Like
we're all
casual
drinking,
and laid back, but not.
Then,
we're here with microphones. We all know we're here to do a job. We all know we're here to put on our best face. She didn't deserve to be,
she shouldn't have been
accosted like that. Yeah.
Well. But so now what though? Like,
I'm done with the Joe Budden podcast. Rory and Mal are gone. Outside of the Olivia Dope situation, the chemistry between these two new guys and Joe is not it. These two new guys are both a big snore, and I'm done. I won't watch it.
I've been having a hard time. I would say that I haven't been listening to the Joe Budden podcast as much lately, just because there's so much going on. The cast has changed. The original team, Joe, Rory, and Mal fell out, and I actually didn't like how that situation was handled between friends like that. They got into this heated debate online. You know what I mean? And part of me feels as though in which Joe has just admitted in a more recent podcast how he had been speaking about the Spotify deal as if there was millions on the table, right? And then all he tells the guys is that I just turned it down. And so even in my brain, I'm like, wait, you had a chance to make your friends Rory, Mal, and Parks, and perhaps many of the more other people that work on the show, you could have made them all millions of dollars. At least that's how you spoke about the deal. Right. But for you, it was more so about legacy and impact
yourself.
And intellectual property at the time. Whereas I'm like man, but you touted that as your reason, and then everything seems to just decline from there. Mm-hmm. So. Like I said online, it sounds to me like you fumbled the bag. It sounds to me that Rory and Mal are aware of that. They want to see where the money is going, what money was offered from the deal, and just to get a better picture of the whole thing instead of just being in the dark. Like they've been your co-hosts for fucking hundreds of episodes. You know what I'm saying? I feel like they deserve that kind of respect and consideration when it comes to the podcast and something that they've helped build. And so now, but he's been able to just pluck them out and be like, well, I don't need Rory and Mal. I can replace them with Ish and Ice, and the show will go on either way. And it's still my show. And he's been introducing the show like that. This is the Joe Budden show. This is my show. And you know what I mean? Shout out to Parks, who's been right there the whole time, pushing the buttons and recording everything and stuff like that. Right. But he must be getting paid however he wants to get paid, or he must value his job and his position to the point to where he's willing to put up with any and everything. So
to throw Joe,
I don't know the ins and outs of it all, though. To be fair.
Yeah, to throw Joe a line, I would definitely say in hearing outside of the Olivia Dope situation, because that is what I just feel like is just no, not in 2021.
But part of me is like as a young kid, right, as a young adult before, I've said things to women before.
Joe's not a young adult. That's a grown ass.
Oh, he's a grown ass man, but I'm saying men say things to women all the time. You can never really gauge what is going to be considered offensive or not.
I want to fuck you. I want to fuck you.
Sometimes it might work. You know what I mean? It could potentially work, especially if you're a person in power. You know what I mean? You have some kind of leverage. You have access to resources and stuff like that. And a lot of these women, right, like you said, the other two co-hosts, maybe they would have went for that kind of shit before. Mm-hmm. Maybe they are the type of women to be like, oh, he's throwing the line out there. I can make a little bit of money just by fucking with this dude or something like that.
Yeah, well, that's not who that woman was. Clearly. And that's why you just need to
respect people at all times.
Respect people, exactly, because you don't know if you're dealing with a slob or if you're dealing with a perfectly respectable, unsuspecting, unwanting of your bullshit type of person who's just there to do their job, and that's really what it felt like, and it was wrong. And I just
and saying just let's fuck is pretty just out there.
Just gross.
That's kind of wild.
But I just think that in the apology, I would have been perfectly fine had Joe literally said, I need to really reassess some things. I need to look into myself and figure out why I feel as though I can just talk to a woman like that. You know what I'm saying? I need to, but I don't feel like he did that. I almost feel like he had like a hostile attitude when he spoke of that situation specifically. Like his attitude was just like, we finna roll past this, like blah, blah, blah. And I just don't like that because it's so arrogant and it is discrediting. Like, yeah, maybe she did make a big ass deal of it, but it's kind of a big deal when you are being watched by thousands and thousands of people and you do have a daughter at home and you go home and you're like, damn, like, who am I? And like, you know, somebody's just talking to me this way on the internet and I'm just sitting there laughing. And like, yeah, you do got to come out and speak your truth to start your healing, just like she said. And he should have been more soft about the situation, I think. But in the situation with Rory Ma, I do low-key think Joj has some good points in just the fact that, like, I understand Rory Ma helped him make the podcast, but we did not know Rory Ma. We didn't know Rory Ma at all. But we knew Joe. So it was his name and his likeness.
Yeah.
That.
You have a point.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to move on from this topic and move on to the CDC claiming that if you've been vaccinated, at least here in Washington, if you've been vaccinated, you don't have to wear your masks anymore. So that's great news. That's great news.
It really is.
So if you're out there and you're wearing your mask and you're looking at everybody else taking their mask off, go and get that fucking vaccine, buddy. Yeah. Just go ahead and get the jab. Go ahead and get the fucking Pfizer, Moderna, motherfucking Johnson & Johnson and get that shit injected into your veins. And then you can take off a mask too.
Get the heart disease injected.
Yeah, get all fucking... You know what I mean? Get cerebral palsy and all that bullshit and get experimented on, and then you can take your mask off.
Yeah.
Or you can do like a regular American does when they hear an unlawful law and just not wear a mask anyway. And just disregard it completely. You got
vaccinated, because that's what I'm doing. I don't care. Judge me if you want to. And that's my plan. I'm sticking to it.
Right.
I'm even going to get these wristbands off the internet that say fully vaccinated. For me and my husband.
Yeah, we don't have to get like and I feel like it's just so weird because how are they finna enforce that? You see somebody walking out in the street or walking in the mall or something like that, and you run up on them. So you telling me you've been vaccinated? Because that's I'm sure that's what I look like to people. People see me out and I'm like I'm looking around smiling. I'm like shit. Whoa. I've been vaccinated 8 times. You know what I mean? But people look at me and like, yeah, right, dude. Yeah, right, dude. You haven't been vaccinated. And so are they finna run up on me and ask me?
Right? No, and they can really get told to mind their fucking business.
You are correct. They're not finna do that.
They're sure not.
They're not.
Sure not. Surely are not. I wish somebody would.
And when they do, and you say yes, or are they going to ask for like some kind of verification? Because that's what they're saying, right? You're going to have
that's confidentiality.
You're
that's
going to have your vaccination card that you're going to carry around with you.
Yeah, right.
They're going to have something on your phone. They're going to put a new fucking temperature check thing up on your head, which registers your vaccination.
No, we wanted this topic to talk about how this is going away. COVID-19 is going away.
Yes. It seemed like it's a return to normalcy.
People finally are talking about outside opening up, concerts, shows, festivals.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah.
It's exciting, but it's exciting for people like us who want things to go back to normal, who want to stop wearing masks, who want to just go out in public and go out to shows and stuff like that, and we're not too concerned with the health aspects of the coronavirus. But to people that have gotten accustomed to this stuff, who's quarantined, who don't go outside at all, they've been inside this entire time.
Agoraphobia.
They got their vaccine and they're still not taking their masks off. They're wearing double masks still. They're saying
we don't even consider them.
I'm doing my job. I'm doing my part. You know what I mean? I feel like it's just we just gotta reach out to them people and give them a hug and tell them it's gonna be okay.
Just cough on them a little bit.
It's gonna be okay. Lick them on the face.
Right.
It's all right.
Make your immune system stronger. Go. Get out there.
So yeah, shout out to CDC. Shout out Washington for relaxing the mask mandates.
Yeah, wow.
Incredible.
Finally, Washington does something.
Right, but like places like Texas and Florida and Tennessee,
They never wore
they're
masks.
laughing at us. They're like, y'all some pussies. Y'all just now joining the way. Y'all just not realizing this is some bullshit.
Right.
Yeah, clearly.
Some bullshit.
Anyway, so next topic of the night, Bow Wow versus Soulja Boy. Big Soulja, Draco versus Bow Weezy, Bow Wizzle for Shizzle. Man,
Bow Wow, wow.
tell me the info on it, babe. They're doing a versus.
Where my dogs at? Yes, they're doing a versus.
See, basketball is my favorite sport. I like the way they dribble up and down.
No, what's the you ain't riding, you ain't bumping like I'm bumping, you ain't saying nothing, homie, you ain't fresh as I'm is, you ain't got it.
Wait, hold on, I gotta write that down.
Like
Fresh as I'm is. Fresh.
You ain't big whipping, you
As
steady tipping, no girl getting homie, you ain't fresh as I'm is. But you ain't
fresh as I'm is.
Crunk like me, but you can't.
That's a Soulja Boy song, right? Crank that.
That was definitely Bow Wow.
I know,
Okay.
Jessica.
But and then yeah, so Bow Wow and Soulja Boy are gonna do a versus.
But Bow Wow hasn't made any new music though, so.
But neither has Soulja Boy.
Yeah, he has.
New?
I'm pretty sure, yes.
What's
He
new?
has like a new music video, and I thought the song sounded pretty dope.
Recent?
Yeah.
I haven't heard it.
Yeah, and he's just been He's been way more active than Bow Wow.
Yeah. Well, Bow Wow's been doing like stupid like reality TV show stuff, dumb stuff. But Bow Wow though did say he was on live and he said if you Google artists with the most number ones, MCs with the most number ones, he's on that list, and Soulja Boy's not on that list. And he did Google it, and it pulled up, and he is like number 4 on the list. So it makes me interested in like to hear what songs are gonna get played exactly.
I can't think of none off my top.
You
hold you down.
Oh, that was that shit.
That's Bow Wow and Omarion, right?
Like a friend supposed to. I'm trying to show you the life of somebody like you should be living. Oh, baby.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good battle. I think though that Bow Wow never really had the true street cred that apparently Soulja Boy has. Cause Soulja Boy, we gotta give it to Soulja Boy. He has street cred. He has.
Yeah, Bow Wow's very short.
I think they're both very short. They're both like short and skinny, and you know what I mean. But Draco be rapping about the streets. He be in the streets,
and his attitude is just more like
yeah. So I think when it comes to this battle, I got Soulja Boy winning. So what do you think? Who do you got?
But we got to think of the songs though, like because Soulja Boy definitely have. No, I don't have Shad Moss, but we got to definitely think of the songs because Soulja Boy will have like Superman, and then what else? Kiss Me Through the Phone with Soulja Boy. Hopped Up Out the Bed. Yeah.
But that's all from that same kind of era, though. You know what I mean?
What's up? Hey, but that was so hard.
Yeah.
I'm getting money. Oh.
Turn my swag on. Yeah, fuck that shit.
So I think
Soulja Boy inspired a lot of niggas out here in the game, man.
Soulja Boy is hard. You gotta make very good music.
People gotta admit that shit for real. I don't know who Bow Wow inspired. It's like Bow Wow inspired Lil Romeo specifically. They clone each other.
We gotta hear the battle though because we can't fully discredit Bow Wow. Him having all these number ones must mean something. And I mean, Fresh as I'm is the one with Sierra. What else? The one with Sierra. The one with Omarion or whatever.
I mean, I'm sure he has a song with Snoop Dogg somewhere. You feel me?
Right.
He should. And if he doesn't, this nigga's tripping.
When I was 8, I was rhyming, not backyard game playing, watching Snoop anxiously or waiting for my chance, man. Hot and cocky with it, cause I know that I am, man. I'm going down in history like American Bandstand.
Oh my God, Jessica. Like, what the fuck was that? What song was that?
That's Fresh as I'm is.
Oh, okay. You know the words of that 100%, huh? We gonna kill him on karaoke night. Yeah. You ain't fresh as I'm is. We gonna do it to him.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to the final topic of the night. Movie issues. Maybe it's just a drought right now when it comes to movies, you know, like a few movies just can't come out recently, but nothing like not a major blockbuster, nothing that gets people excited like say Justice League when that first came out, the Snyder cut, that was pretty epic. But right now, where are the movies at? And you know, speaking of movies, when it comes to trying to find a movie for me and my lady to watch, we have a pretty tough time, man. I'm into like action movies. I like shit blowing up. I like guns. I like fucking people getting stabbed and beat up. Zombie movies. You know what I mean? Blood and just getting beat the fuck up. And
right.
She would watch a movie with heroine. A damsel, a dame.
That's not true.
Okay. I'm just let me paint the full picture. She'd rather see some kind of thrills and suspense and drama and epic build up and heart-wrenching emotion and plot and a woman and a child and some kind of like.
No, I don't even prefer to
pull me into the story.
I mean, I want a plot. I'd like a plot.
Scandal.
I do enjoy a good scandal movie. Yeah, I feel like this topic is just because I cannot pick a movie with my husband here lately.
I've been trying to get her to watch Army of the Dead because I want to see it. It looked like a pretty tight movie.
Look, I'm so uninterested. And then I'm not one of those girls like that feels like, you know, oh, you have an interest, you watch anime. Oh, well, now I watch anime and blah, blah, blah. Like, I'll watch anime with him and I do enjoy anime with him and stuff like that. But like, I'm not one of those people who, just like I like what I like, you like what you like.
Right,
good.
and I'm not gonna watch the Housewives and shit with her. You know,
I don't watch the Housewives.
We have our own different things. So when it comes to us trying to find something that we both will like, we've been having
movies aren't good anymore.
Difficulties.
Movies aren't good anymore for real. Movies are trash. I feel like people forgot how to act. I feel like people just like it's just like. Just movies suck, and like that's just is what it is. I'm sorry. Is this our last topic?
Yeah.
I don't want to end it on a negative note.
I'm not gonna say movies suck. I'm gonna say that I think I'm just noticing. For me, anyway, I'm just noticing more so the propaganda behind movies. I hate movies loaded with meaning and fucking socially conscious and aware wokeism bullshit that's trying to speak on issues in our society, that's trying to be more inclusive for the LGBTQ and all this kind of bullshit, and it doesn't make sense.
Just have a good plot.
Yeah, I guess so.
And I'm not into heavy just action, killing, murder, war with no like real story behind it. But if there is a story behind, like I love 300. I love I love those 300 movies. I love
the 300 movies, as in more than one.
There were more than one.
There's one that was good, and that was the original with Russell Crowe. The Indian Goddess Woman.
Seen the one with Russell Crowe.
I'm pretty sure it was Russell Crowe. But that's the original, the OG 300.
But I like movies. I like war movies when they have good plots, and I do like psychological thrillers, something with like some suspense. I love a good horror movie that has a good plot, but I don't want a horror movie that is just like somebody's just like starts getting killed, or you know what I'm saying, for no reason, or just like I'm totally not into Netflix has just done it a million times, the typical horror movie where it's like a family moves into a house, the house is haunted, they have to find this mystery, and the house is history. Like I'm so tired of that. That's the same plot for every horror movie. Like
I was talking to my dog Randy about witchcraft, about fucking just that idea, like, oh, place is haunted. Oh, but the demon, ghost, whatever, is just throwing pictures off your wall and he's slamming doors in the house. Like, bruh, you gonna get your bitch ass out this motherfucking crib. You know what I mean?
Just now?
No, like a while ago. Like
last night we watched The Whole Truth.
The Whole Truth.
That good?
What was that?
The trial with Keanu Reeves.
Oh yeah, we
It
watched
wasn't
the whole
very
truth.
good. The whole
yeah.
truth on Netflix.
I thought it was
It's
decent.
alright. It's alright. But another example of just one of those mid-ass movies. That's what I'm saying. Everything's just mid now.
Nah, I mean it kind of threw me off at the end when he was like, "Oh, what? It was you was the killer."
Yeah.
That shit. I was like, "What? you been acting like you was innocent this whole time."
It's worth a watch.
Yeah. So the whole truth, that was alright. What, any other movies you seen that was good?
That one movie about the women who were like working for the old people's home and they were like stealing people's money and stuff. That was kind of good. They were like two lesbian women and there was like a midget.
Right.
That was pretty good.
That was a good movie too. Yeah. So there's good movies out there. You know what I mean? People, I think with just the access to green screens and blue screens and fucking, you know what I mean? Everybody has a camera. Cameras are getting cheaper and smaller and easier to use, and the proliferation of all of these different tools and media and stuff like that. Like, in order to stand out, you have to get creative. You gotta use your brain. You gotta think outside the box, and that's what I'm a heavy advocate for. So, challenge yourself. We finna challenge ourselves with how we bring you guys content to this channel, and so just stay tuned, stick with us. But yeah, that's our show for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you again next week. It's been the More Slice of Life podcast, episode 20 something. See you next time.
Love you.
Bye bye.